Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. I hope we are live and you guys are able to see me. Just a minute, I'm just adding my screen share. Meanwhile, if you guys can give me a confirmation if you are able to see me and hear me clearly. Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. Please let me know if you guys are able to see me. Okay, it's live here. The session has begun. We just delayed by 1 minute or so. Okay, I'm just looking in the chat if you guys can tell me. Hi, great. Thank you so much for that confirmation. So yeah, so a very good evening to everyone present here. I'm Prasad from LetsUpgrade, and today I'm here to basically help you guys understand how to get started for this program, which is Prompt Engineering Basics. It is going to be a 3-day bootcamp, yes, and today, tomorrow, right? Today, tomorrow, not 3-day, 2-day bootcamp, and basically same time 6 to 8, 6 to 7:38 is something that will run, and Gaurav Deep is going to be your instructor trainer, so and he's also available in chat for you to connect as of now. Yeah, so my job here is to just basically help you guys understand what is the set of to-dos that you need to understand or follow before you start learning, right? So there are only three things. I'll just take it. Okay, my video is freezed. uh, it would be freezed here. Don't see this side. Okay, so there are only three things. First is enrollment, second is marking of your attendance and attending the session, and third is basically to get your certificates, right? So we have a document that is ready for everything. So all you have to do is basically just get down into a description down there. So I'm just going to copy paste the link for you guys and paste it right here in the chat, and I'm going to basically pin this as well, and we are going to follow this particular document. So let me just open the document and share this tab. Yep. If you guys can give me a confirmation that the sheet is clearly visible, sorry, the document is clearly visible. Yep. So let's understand what all things you are required to do. First is we have a student ambassador program where we pretty much give out a lot of goodies, swags, and everything, right? And all you have to do is to ensure that you can make this program reach to more and more students. It's completely free for you. You get prizes, gift cards, all of those, and also you get access to some exclusive workshops, right? Second, we have the link to this document, which is right in front of you, a short link. You can copy paste it, screenshot it, just paste it anywhere. And third thing third link is the very important link, which is the enrollment link. I'll just open it up and let's move to that link now. So this is the dashboard where basically you have to go and enroll yourself, right? So currently I'm not enrolled, right? So I believe a lot of students have joined directly from YouTube search, or you might have got a notification if you're a subscriber. And of course, yes, if you are new to this channel, please go and subscribe right away, right? So the very first thing that you need to do is go and enroll, right? So I'm going to go and enroll into a particular program, and if you can see, I have enrolled and I've got 50 LU coins. So I can just go back, and okay, if I just go and enroll, continue learning, now all the things are unlocked, right? So you can see the first session that is available, day one, prompt engineering basics. You can go and mark attendance right from here. It will give you options from 1 to 10. If you are giving us anything below than 10, please ensure to mark what went wrong, so that we can improvise on the further boot camps. Now for now, I'm going to just give us a 10, and then uh, I'm just going to put nothing, and that's it. My attendance for today is marked. Please note that attendance can only be marked during the time of the session, right? So we have another session tomorrow. That's it. We have two sessions for prompt engineering, today and tomorrow. Once you mark all the attendance and the program is over, you will be able to get a certificate right from here. Apart from that, we have our WhatsApp channels, we have your Discord server. You can add to this your calendar, you can refer to your friends. Just click on refer, select the program which you want to refer and get points, and share with the friends. Now, how do you get your certificates, right? So for example, let me just show you some another program which is completely done. So let me go to this IELTS program. So now once tomorrow, after the program is done, after the last session is done, you can see your certificate like this. Again, this is a dummy certificate. You can click on download certificate and get a certificate copy. You can click on LinkedIn and it will add it to your LinkedIn profile, or you can just share it wherever you want, right? So I hope all these instructions are clear. I'm just going to summarize it again. The first step is to go and enroll into the program with the link given in the description and pinned in the chat wherever this is there, right? Then second thing is to go and mark your attendance and watch the session, and third is come back and collect your certificates. I hope all the instructions are clear. If I can get a yes, in the chat. I'm just looking in the chat right now. Yep, all clear, guys. Before we move on with the actual lecture. Okay, okay, great. Thank you. Yes, you can add this in your certificates, provided that you are following whatever as Gaurav is teaching to you. You can add it in your certificate. You can add it in your resume as well. It's completely fine. Okay, so with this, I'll just call Gaurav Deep on the studio. Hi, Gaurav, how are you?
Hey, hi Prasad, I'm good. How are you?
All good. So we have, I guess, around 150 and more students are joining, ready to learn about prompt engineering. Uh, so I guess we can get started. I briefed them. Yes, guys, one thing that please keep in mind while sir is teaching, do not spam the chat. Please focus on what he's teaching. And whenever he's done with particular topic, he will ask you the doubts, and that would be a right time to spam the chat so that he gets to know what what questions you are like asking, right? Or you're going to just end up missing your doubts, right? So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Gaurav Deep. All the best, guys, and have fun in the next 2 days. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Prasad. The stage is all mine now. All right. I see around 150 live people in this session. And yes, Abhishek is asking how's the Josh? It's always up and high. Now, what's the duration of the session? Well, it depends. We have a certain curriculum designed for you. So we plan to tentatively cover it in the next 1.5, 2 hours. So maximum 2 hours is the session time limit that we have with us. And Abraham Bhamik, in fact, I think I've heard your name previously. We have done C++ session also from the Let's Upgrade. Yes, indeed. Definitely. Great. So it's really inspiring to see so many people. That really drives me that I have to stay on top of whatever I teach and make sure that I am giving back to the community, giving back to the people who are really interested. They gain some valuable insights from these sessions, right? So let us quickly dive into and set the prima facie. What are we gonna discuss today, right? So the agenda, as you all know, is to understand prompt engineering. We will start off from the bare basics, that what it's supposed to be, how does it start, and its relevance, right? Okay, there's a question. Well, is this course for only engineering students? Not exactly. If you realize that the concept of the large language models or ChatGPT, Google Gemini will expand to a level that I believe that anyone who wants to even use internet in day to day should do this course. That's where we are headed at. But yes, of course, as engineers, it's mandatory. Okay, so let me just quickly bring up my screen, which we can share. We'll start off with there, right? Great. So this is a prompt engineering bootcamp, of course, and the kind of curriculum that we have designed for you. Uh, in fact, day two is much more from engineering perspective. Day two is where even a normal person, an engineer, should be focusing a lot on. But day one, we are covering a lot of basics. Day one, we are covering fundamentals of prompt engineering, the general idea of AI language models. We will talk about a few prompts, like what does it mean to have an open-ended prompt versus a more defined or a structured prompt. Okay, we'll talk about some tips and tricks how we can write more effective prompts. We will take up some hands-on examples. We will write different prompts for different tasks. So that's what we plan to achieve today, right? Okay, let us quickly just recap our chats. Is this course okay? I am new here. How to get a certificate after marking attendance? I didn't get the certificate last time. Okay, Dilip, for that, of course, there is an all-in-one document attached on top of your. It's pinned in the chat. You can just follow that. I'm pretty sure that should work for you. Yes. Now, coming back. First of all, let us start from the bare root, right? What is AI? So when people ask, like, is this only for computer science people, or is this concept for a particular audience? Now, this is where I would like to shed some light on the concept of AI, right? So AI is a multidisciplinary field topic, right? It's not only related to computer science, it's related to so many other fields. Could be mathematics, statistics, philosophy, psychology, much more, right? At least 7 8 important pillars of different fields, different subjects coming together, and they build the concept of AI, which I will quickly talk about. Can we get the PPT for notes? Well, sure. Since this PPT is my own, I can definitely share it with all of you. So remind me at the end of the session. I'll just quickly edit and give it back to you, right? I'll just share this PPT right away. That can be delivered. Okay. So, all right. So screen isn't visible. I'm pretty sure it should be visible because I am also running a stream parallelly on some other device, and I can see the screen. It's pretty flexible. All right. So let's get back. First of all, let us divide these words of this topic, artificial intelligence, into subcomponents. The first word is artificial, and the second word is intelligence. So when we think about intelligence, there is no very well defined or a strict definition to what intelligence is supposed to be. You will find multiple widely accepted definitions, but the meaning of that is the intelligence is something which allows us to adapt with our surrounding, learn from the surrounding, and apply that learning as our knowledge in a reciprocation to the surrounding, right? So that's primarily what intelligence is supposed to be. And interestingly, nature or the universe, let's talk about the earth specifically, has developed intelligence naturally in the biological creatures, specifically talking about humans being the epitome, or human beings the apex of intelligence, right? But again, intelligence is not limited to humans. Intelligence exists in multiple forms, and the primary meaning being that you are able to adapt with your surrounding, learn from it, recreate around it. Okay, that's what intelligence is supposed to be. So when we add the word artificial in front of it, it means something that nature never created, right? It is something that we evolved out of our genius mindsets, right? Or our intelligence. We created something on our own. So that's where AI is supposed to be. So understand and appreciate the fact that AI is much more than just your computer program, right? So that's one point. Now, where will we get the PPT for notes? I'll share the link with you, and this link will be available. We can pin it, okay? In fact, if I just go over here, file, share with others, and anyone with the link is a viewer. If I copy this, you all will have the access. Do not worry. At the end of the session, I will give it to you, okay? Right. So let us first talk about what is a machine or a function. Now, this is very important. In fact, like if someone asks me what was the most important thing that helped you learn machine learning or AI, it would be what the very basic definition of what is a machine, right? It is as simple as something which accepts a well-defined input and runs on a predefined set of instructions and produces an output. We all might have seen that movie Three Idiots, where we have seen Amir Khan replicate the example, right? That what is a machine supposed to be? Well, we want to take the easier one out. The easier definition is, let us imagine a fan for an example, right? A home fan, ceiling fan. It is very well defined. It only takes electricity as input. It has no emotions. It has no other function, right? So despite fan being a circular machine, it can only take your electricity as the input. It will not accept or appreciate any other form of input, right? Even if I tomorrow try to become a motivational speaker and I try to motivate fan that, come on fan, you can do it, and show us that you can rotate on yourself, I try to clap for it. It doesn't work that way, right? It only accepts electricity. So that's what defines a very well defined input, right? anything apart from the definition fails. The machine will not work on it. So the fan has predefined inputs depending upon the current supplied. Equivalently, there are number of rotations available, and the output is obviously the rotation. So that's what a machine is supposed to be. Now, if we think from a engineer's point of view, specifically a software engineer's point of view, a machine is also something which is directly similar or is in analogy to our functions, right? When we write program, we define functions, and functions are nothing but different machines, right? Part of the machines which do certain tasks. They take inputs as parameters, they return outputs as return statements. So if we now understand what is a machine, then what is machine learning? So machine learning is supposed to be the art of teaching a machine to accept an input and produce an output, right? And to get better at it. Now, the only difference here is that as a normal developer, maybe if you're a full stack developer, you're a backend developer, or any form of developer, apart from AI ML engineer, you write logic on your own. You have a thorough understanding of algorithms. You have thorough understanding of the concepts that how do you define your logic and how do you make some things work, right? But that's where the boundaries change when it comes to machine learning. Here, we do not explicitly write the complete logic, okay? We let the machine creates its own logic. We only supervise at some points, and we only follow certain algorithms of machine learning to train and adapt a machine to learn to produce a specific output, right? That's the most easy way to explain someone that how what machine learning is supposed to be, right? And at the same time appreciate the fact that machine learning is not complete definition of AI, because if you remember, if we go 2 slides previous, we understood that AI is a very vast concept. We have not touched domains like speech recognition, speech to text, text to speech, or advanced systems, robotics, computer vision, natural language processing, much more, right? There are so many disciplines of AI, but machine learning is a sub part of it, okay? It belongs into that umbrella of AI, whereas machine learning is only a part where we teach machine to do certain things for us, right? So that's where AI and ML come into picture. So again, NLP is a concept in AI. NLP is a concept of AI. It stands for natural language processing, okay? So when we talk about natural language processing, it is a field of computer science, AI, okay, combined together. And it has multiple machine learning algorithms and machine learning applications which we find around it. So firstly, what is natural language? So again, natural language is something that is derived naturally from human evolution. When we evolved, we created so many natural languages. English is one of it. Hindi or any other language that we speak or can speak is a natural language, right? So the idea to process this language in computers is nothing but NLP, right? Natural language processing. So many applications use language, such as translation, voice recognition, text summarization, chatbots here and there. Every application these days has chatbots. You may have used some of these applications. Voice-based GPS navigations. When we're driving, the Google Map nowadays navigates us through voice. There are digital assistants, right? We have speech to text softwares. So many things coming into picture which are derived from these techniques, right? So there are many concepts related to it. Again, the thought here is not to drive the session into NLP, but the thought here is to set up few things to warm you up with concepts which bring you towards prompt engineering and what the current generation models are all about, okay? So when it comes to NLP, the idea remains same, that we try to make our language as simple as possible before we feed it to a machine. For an example, we have tokenization is a concept, okay? So tokens is nothing but when we divide a text into a smaller unit. For an example, if I have a corpus of text, so corpus of text could comprise of an entire page of document, right? Whereas if I have to break it down into a further level, I can break it to a paragraph level. whereas individual paragraphs can be further broken down into sentence levels, whereas sentence could be further broken down into words, and words can be broken down into characters, right? So there's a hierarchy which can be followed. So depending upon at which granular level you want to go, if you want to predict next words, then maybe you should divide your text, or you should tokenize your text at word levels. You should take complete corpus, split it into words, so that your machine learns and appreciates different words and their relations. If you want to predict sentence versus sentence, you can maybe, but it's not a common method that you can tokenize even a sentence, or you can tokenize a paragraph by paragraph, right? But what exactly is tokenization to begin with? So the computers, as we know in itself, they do not understand the natural language to begin with. At the end, a computer has a CPU unit, which is like the brain of the system itself. It only accepts current, or the current as an input, right? And if we supply a high voltage or a high current, it is yes to it, or one. Low voltage is zero, which means no. So which is where computer understands binary language. So anything like A, B, C, D is converted into hexadecimal form, like 10110. There are different conversions to each of the character, and that's what computer understands, right? So we have seen many fancy movies like Matrix, which is a relatively a little older movie, to give an example now. But we have seen many times a computer entering digital binary zones where 1010s are getting populated. So, well, that's the real scenario when it comes to CPU. Any text or image or any media, photo, video, speech, or anything which is digital to us is nothing but ones and zeros to computer, right? So, in order to park our words into a computer, in order to help computer mimic or understand our words, we convert each word into a vector space, or maybe into a two-dimensional matrix to begin with, as simple as ones and zeros. Okay, so each word has its own embedding. If we understand key value pairs, if we understand what a dictionary, a Python dictionary, or a hash map looks like, it has a key and a value. Okay, so similarly, consider this to be like a translation book. Tokens are nothing but translation books between humans and computers, whereas human will write its word in English, and the computer will equivalently add 1010 binary to translate it. Okay, so whatever suppose if I write hi, hello, how are you, computer will go into token level, convert hi into its relative one zeros, how are you into similarly, and then read this one zeros as a sentence for itself, right? So okay, now let's see if there are certain doubts. Hypertext transfer protocol, HTTP or WebSockets, which is better for NLP applications? Well, Shritesh, if you understand the concept of REST APIs, HTTP protocol, WebSockets, or could be anything like even web RTCs, okay, real-time transfer protocols. It depends on what you are creating. For an example, if you are creating a chatbot which replies back, say maybe after n number of period, depending on architecture, maybe you will go with the HTTP protocol. If you are into a live chat, okay, where you have to maintain the session. For an example, I'm talking to a Swiggy chatbot, and the session has to be maintained. Okay, so in that case, WebSockets are better. But suppose if I am talking about something like YouTube Live, if I'm talking about Hotstar hosting the IPL match, if I'm talking about Google Meet meetings where the real-time transfer protocols are necessary, then even WebSockets will not work there. So the answer to your question depends upon your architecture. What type of problem are you solving? What type of bot you're designing? On that level, you decide whether HTTP or WebSockets. Yes. So yes, a chatbot is like ChatGPT. Yes, somewhere like that. Okay. All right. Good evening to all of you. Right. So this is being handled. Now coming back, so that's where the tokens are supposed to be and how they are supposed to address the gap between our and computer's language, right? So in order to unnecessarily or not to create unnecessary garbage for computer when it comes to words like uh, maybe like running, runner, or run, they all are related to an activity of run, right? So stemming and lemmatization are the concepts where we trim these words to their root form. Okay, I wanted, wanting, they all are trimmed down to want. Okay, so that's where stemming lemmatization come into pictures. Stop words are again words like and, the, is, or, how, I, am. So these words do not carry any significant significance in explaining the sentence. Okay, they are just fillers when they complete the complete meaning of the sentence. So we can further eliminate them to shed some more out of the text that we are putting. So, and it is pretty understandable, right? Even if I tell today to ChatGPT that I want to learn machine learning, how to do it. Okay, so if I just simply write learn machine learning, the response will be still similar to what I want. Okay, rather than I want to learn. It is not important I or you or him. Okay, these are stop words and they do not primarily contribute to the meaning of the sentence. So, which is where we further cut this garbage words or common words to eliminate and emphasize on the important words. So, again, there are techniques like text normalization, whereas I told you that even a simple character like a capital A or a small a will have different representation to the CPU, right? CPU will not be able to understand that A and capital A are same thing. It has a different memory map for it. You remember binaries, one zeros. So we normalize, we do case normalization, we remove punctuations, we try to do some spelling corrections to improve the accuracy. So these are a few things which we usually do around in this context of pre-processing or maybe arranging the sentence before feeding into a computer, right? So with that being said, there are multiple applications which the NLP is able to propose. Something like sentiment analysis, which refers to maybe identifying which tweets are harmful, hateful, or maybe they are running a certain agenda. That way we can design systems which are able to prevent certain harmful content coming into. Then there is text modeling. Maybe we want to understand what this particular blog or article is all about, give it a particular title or classify it. So that's there. We have spam detection, which works with your emails. You might have seen that there are certain spam mails that you get. Translation being yet another quite widely accepted and popular application of NLP. Summarization, text generation, chatbot, and so much more, right? So this is where the current generation of large language models also play roles, right? So the ChatGPT, which is quite popular these days, Gemini or other important models which are coming into the picture, they are finding applications around the same things that we are talking about, right? So with that being said, let us try to understand what is a language model, right? So by this time, we have understood a little bit of what is AI, a little bit of what is NLP, and what is the machine learning to begin with, right? So language models are a fundamental component of NLP, right? So that's there. All right. So, sir, how do we recognize root words in stemming and lemmatization? Well, Kavya, for that we can have a different session around NLP, right? Let us stick to the domain of the prompt engineering for now. All right. So now coming back that what are language models in NLP to begin with, right? So they are the fundamental core components. What do they do? So they're designed to understand, generate, and predict human level languages, right? So for an example, if I am just for an example, if I am doing a statement where I have to predict the next word. Usually, I eat breakfast at. Okay, so there might be multiple of words which can be filler here, and they all might have different level of importance and predictions. Like usually, eat breakfast at table is the most common prediction. Hence, the machine will try to predict this. So at the end, language model is something that does this task. Language model is responsible to predict what comes next, right? So there could be many different ways even to design language models. So if you trace back before the boom or the overnight explosion of popularity of ChatGPT, language models always existed, right? Even in fact, before the deep learning or machine learning came into the picture, language models have been there. There are many statistical models to begin with. So anyone who is here from the background of maybe machine learning, they might be aware of n-gram models. So what is an n-gram model? It is nothing but statistical model, which could be 2 gram, 3 gram, 4 gram, which is supposed to take the phonemes, letters, words, and their base pairs, and using these techniques predict what is the next possible word. Okay, whereas there could be more robust models like exponential models. These are also again statistical models which do not at all rely on deep learning. They rely on the concepts of maybe like what is the context, what is the previous word, and how does it try to predict what can come next. Okay, which is where the exponential models come into picture, and something like this is somewhere where deep learning comes into picture, and deep learning is definitely the game changer. So from the point on the era of recurrent neural networks to LSTMs to GRUs, these are certain models, machine learning models, which helped us predict the next word or forecast what will be the next token coming into picture. They changed a lot of game for us, right? And in 2017, when transformers were introduced, which is where the entire game of the large language models comes into picture, right? So by this point, we have a very fair understanding that language models are nothing but something that predicts the next word in the execution, in the sequence, right? And whereas when we talk about the large language models, they are the current generation of models which help us predict again the next word. They help us do a lot of things. They help us summarize the entire corpus of text, translate it, put it to different uses, but it takes a large corpus of language variations, right, which can be handled. So large language models, they're pushing the boundaries of what an NLP can do. Basically, these models, they have vast size to begin with. You could be in like hundreds and hundreds of GBs, and they could have billions of parameters. Okay, and their abilities, of course, enlarged to do many different things. Okay, rather than just predicting the next word. And training these models also includes vast amount of text data. So you might have heard that even when Facebook's tech division trains llama model, it has to inform the government that there will be an electrical surge. Okay, because the area might lose electricity. So much amount of GPUs are burnt to train something like this, right? And you will be surprised. In fact, you will be surprised to know that ChatGPT wastes millions of dollars monthly just to say hi, hello, and thank you. Right. So this is how these models are at this point. A vast mammoth, okay, of like a GPU farm is needed to run such a model. Okay, and the principle remains same. They evolve from the concept of natural language processing. They have their roots there. Their genetics is improved from RNN to LSTM to transformers, which is the backbone of LLM. And models like Google Gemini, models like ChatGPT, open source models like DeepSeek, the Tesla's model, or this Tutorx model Grok is into the picture now, and we have so many more. Could be there are many Chinese models like DeepSeek model coming into picture. Okay, so there are many more LLM models which are available to us than just a chat GPT to begin with. The only thing that, in fact, Llama or the Facebook model, the Llama, which is the contender of from Facebook. In fact, they were able to even publish something before ChatGPT, but it didn't went well. Gemini, Google had its own ideas coming into picture, but ChatGPT has seen its own particular kind of boom, okay, and popularity, which in fact the company itself was not expecting, the OpenAI. All right. So now that we are here in the realm of AI, we understand what LLMs are supposed to be, or large language models. Let us try to see how the sophisticated AI models have helped us reach this point, and where a concept like prompt engineering has arisen, right? because it unlocks a lot of potentials from the LLMs. If you understand prompt engineering, you can control these models. You can carefully design instructions to guide these models to work for your desired outcomes, right? So first thing is that there are two different words here, prompt and engineering, right? We'll talk about it and we'll see, and you will soon realize that more than just engineering concept, prompt engineering is something which requires a lot of natural skills, your talent, and it is more related to your art, how artistic you can get to design something, to explain something, right? So what exactly is a prompt? So in essence, a prompt is a piece of text. Okay, it is a set of instructions that you provide to a large language model to trigger maybe a specific reason or an action to begin with, right? So the prompt itself is nothing but your way of expressing through text. So the way we interact with a chatbot, okay, the way we talk to a chatbot, uh, or maybe to a human, okay, suppose if I have to express something to you, the way I will use my language is similar the way I will write a prompt, okay. So how does a prompt actually work? So prompt has an input, okay. So the prompt is a way to communicate, that's established, okay. It is a starting point to tell to the model that what do you want to do, okay. Maybe it's translation, maybe it's summarization, or it could be anything, right? And so LLM, what it does is it starts off with analyzing a prompt first, okay. So LLM has a vast knowledge base. See how these chat GPTs and the large language models are trained. They are trained on large corpus of data, okay. So let us realize that we have a lot of digital space these days, right? We communicate to each other through Instagram, we communicate through social media, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, now X, we have so many platforms, and we have blogs, we have vlogs on YouTube, people write blogs on their pages, we have so many websites, news articles, publications, magazines. So there is terabytes and terabytes of data available on the internet itself, right? Open and closed form of data from different organizations, from different companies, from different humans over the years, right? So entire data is carefully collected, collaborated, processed using NLP techniques, which I just explained you, and then the model is trained over this entire corpus. Okay, so this model learns everything. Could be your fifth standard syllabus of your school, could be 10th standard syllabus of your school, could be the news, could be articles. Hence this model has such a vast vocabulary, such a vast knowledge base that it understands many things, okay. You imagine it, and this model might have learned it, or might have learned it in its training process, okay. So as an engineer, if I'm a mechanical engineer, I know a little bit about mechanical things. If I'm a computer engineer, I know a few things about computer engineering. But LLMs, they are trained on everything, starting from mechanical computer to even law, or even medical science, or even any expert thing you can imagine. Anything is possible on the internet or in the closed environments. These models have trained on it. Okay, at least the attempt has been so. Okay. So what happens is that the input that we give, or the communication that we give to this model in the form of prompt, it analyzes it, okay, and based on it, it draws from its vast knowledge base the understanding of your language pattern, what it needs to do around it, okay. Then the LLM generates a response based on your prompt, okay. So the response could be a text completion, could be a translation, could be a summary, or it could be any creative piece, maybe write a new story or write a new poem, okay. Even code generation in some cases. So currently the Google Gemini has last week, in fact in April itself, in this week itself, launched 4.1, which is the latest Gemini. Sorry, the ChatGPT has launched it. Okay, the 4.1 model, which is again game changer. Google Gemini has launched 2.5 Pro. These are writing really good codes. So we in our industry practice, we keep on testing prompts a lot. Okay, so if I talk a little bit about who I am and where I come from. So this is where currently at industry we work at, right? My day-to-day job is to work with large language models. We have made a lot of generative AI projects, could be from computer vision to text generation to chatbots, right? So all right. So we have one comment coming in from Shritej, that is Grok AI's freedom of speech focus its main distinguishing feature compared to other AI models. How does this principle affect the language model's conversational style with the user? Okay. So let us understand a few things, Shritej, over here. When we talk about a model's genetics, when we talk about a model's way to talk, okay, so there are many things involved. Ethical scope of creating something, the ethical scope of your technology, how does it impact the humanity, how do you use it, and then there are other concerns like what exactly is the purpose that you're trying to solve here, right? So when the Llama company, the Facebook company, they published their first model even before the ChatGPT, it suffered such a negative review from the community, in fact, from the tech community itself, that this is a very dangerous tool. Okay, in fact, someone tried to ask it, okay, how do I create a bomb, or someone tried to ask it that how do I create a recipe with broken glass and eat it, right? So these models were trying to replicate the answers, that maybe you can crush the bottle finally and then try to eat it, which is devastating. Okay, if someone although we are scientific tempered, but imagine developing this technology and leaving it to each and every human, and this models are telling you that you can eat glass safely, is not at all an ethical way to promote technology, right? So the idea is that that is where ChatGPT, Gemini, they developed such strong, you can say, gate gates, right, like security gates, to handle such negative prompts, to handle the scenario where the model never seems unprofessional, the model has a good temperament. Okay, so that's where the idea is that many of these models, they are carefully designed. So Grok's freedom of speech focus is something which was embedded into its training architecture. Okay, like it also depends upon what type of data you're training your model on, and so there is positive training and then there is negative training involved in large language model, right? So that's carefully where you design the genetics and DNA of your model. Okay, what type of model is it, right? If it is so that in fact you will realize that in the aftermarket, if you go to the aftermarket on the internet, there are certain uncensored models also. Okay, these models, they do not have any thresholding parameters or security gates parameters to let these models stop from anything, right? So in fact, I have a few of the models, in fact, enrolled on my local system. Let me just check if those are available on my list. So yes, if you see, I have downloaded an uncensored model, which is again a part of the Llama. And if I try to ask these models that how to even create a bomb, okay, these models won't hesitate you to give the recipe of a bomb. So at the point when you realize that Grok is something like this and this model like this, those are later layers which we add to the large language model to control its behavior, right? So at the end, a large language model will not have such temperaments. Okay, so the kind of things that you see on on a machine like a Gemini is more professional, ChatGPT is more professional, and Grok being little more open is because their layering to behave are designed that ways. Okay. All right. So yes, Bhamik has recently built AI for malaria detection. Interesting. Can we run an LLM on our local machines? Do these have security gates? So I think I just addressed this question. All right. Yes. Cool. So, well, that's where what exactly a prompt is supposed to be. So, it is supposed to be a way you communicate to the LLM that it's a starting point. Okay, that what are we trying to tell the model, what it is supposed to do. Okay, and it processes the prompt along with the input request, and then the output is generated. So when I say the model is supposed to be more professional, which is where prompts can help us redesign the model's role. Okay, if I need a little more funny and generative model, I can express it in the prompt. That's, hey, stop being so professional. Can you be a little more funny with me? Or I can explain the prompt that you are supposed to behave like a lawyer, so try to maintain the decorum, try to maintain the protocols in your language that a lawyer is supposed to follow. So these things can be designed in the prompt to explain the model. Okay, now is the time that you behave or modify a little bit as per me. Okay. All right. So Devansh is asking us that which one is more reliable. So well, there is no such straightforward answer to which LLM is more reliable. The market is evolving every day, and there are so many upgrades that we see, and in fact, we have seen from, especially from 3.5 till the 4.1 generation. That, but I'll give you one way. You can see for LLM leaderboard. Okay, so if you search this on Google, you will find many websites, maybe LLM stats being one. If you go over here, this is where these web pages are updated on daily basis. Okay, on daily basis you will be able to benchmark different companies like Grok, DeepSeek, AWS, and so many more, right? And here you will realize that which model is doing the best in the world at this point. Okay, so when you see license is proprietary, it means they are closed models. Open means it is an open source. You can completely take rights over it. So O3, which is again an OpenAI product, and Claude Sonnet and Grok 3 are the top three leading competitors. And if you see, there are different tests on which they are tested, out of which GPQA being the most reliable, 87, 84, 84, very close call here. So this is an interesting way that you can realize which models are performing how. In fact, if you want to see the models based on different use case, suppose if you're asking me which is more reliable for coding, so you will realize that Claude 3.5 is performing the best, or Quen, again from Alibaba, a Chinese model, is performing best over here, and O1 Mini. So this is where, based on your task, you can realize that which is the more reliable for you. Okay. So based on how much memory can someone take, based on reasoning logic, knowledge logic, fastest API providers. So these are few things that you can follow, right? So LLMstats.com will address that question. All right, let me see if there are any more questions. Abhishek, so can we make websites with prompts only? Uh, Partially, yes. There are many low-code platforms available, but not completely, to be very honest. Okay. So with that being said, I think that addresses all of the doubts that we had till this point. Okay. Now let me check if there are any further doubts. Okay, no for now, which means we can continue. Right. So what we should think of a prompt is like it is a search query. Only instead of searching the web, you see, we have lived the internet era where we had the Google to do things, right? uh, at such a point that it has become a jargon for us कि भाई तू Google कर ले, तो Google कर ले, मैं सच बोल रहा हूँ. Things like this, this is in our language. This is what our language has become. So in that generation, you will have to now adapt a little bit. You see how our parents lacked the ability, parents or grandparents, that they never knew कि Google कैसे करना है. Okay, so similarly, now is a time that if we do not adapt to prompt कैसे करना है, will be a generation gap then. ठीक है, people now will switch to writing prompts and they will realize कि यार इनको prompt लिखना नहीं आता, which is comparable to you saying कि मेरे grandparents को Google करना नहीं आता. So that is where the search queries will evolve. The future is that search queries will now use more prompt based search query. In fact, you might have realized that Microsoft Bing software now relies on ChatGPT. The Google Chrome software, a browser, now relies on Chrome. In fact, if I have to ask something, the Chrome will simply give me the LLM response first. Okay, like even if I ask what is prompt engineering, if I ask this, so okay, where is it supposed to? So again in the prototype salary. Suppose if I ask what is prompt engineering salary, so these are again Google search only. Okay, but if I ask Gemini or okay, I get it. This is a Yahoo search engine. So currently my browser has some issues. It's not directly hunting from Google. So I'll have to clear that extension, but that's fine. So if someone is using Google Chrome, they'll realize that okay, this is possible. Or if you're using Bing, you will realize that is possible. That the answers are no more coming from these regular web pages, right? They now directly come from the LLMs on top of it, on top of search. So with that being said, you will realize that what is the importance of prompting now, right? So once we understand what is prompt, then what is prompt engineering? So prompt engineering is a process of designing and crafting an effective prompt, right? So it is nothing but adding more artistic touch, adding more of refinement into what you want to convey to the model, right? So again, remember, these models are not smart. These models are not intelligent in itself. Kal chal ke, even if you try to chat with this model, you will realize that this model is smart. But no, the reason that I started this session with the idea of what is AI, what is NLP, and where we are, was to add a scientific temper ke chat gpt at the end is nothing but a text prediction model, a probabilistic model which predicts which is the next word to be printed. Okay, so based on pehle kya words print kiye gaye hain, on that basis it prints the next word. It is nowhere smart, it never understands anything. Okay, it's just a prediction model. So in such cases, it is still dumb enough that it requires some efforts to engineer a prompt to design it better. So there are certain key aspects that we need to look into. One is to make sure our prompt is understandable by LLM. Sometimes you will realize when you use LLMs in day-to-day basis, you will realize that prompt engineers, they firstly start understanding their LLM. They start understanding on their LLM's capabilities, limitations, whether it is a chat model, whether it is a generic model. तो कैसे लिखना है prompt? Okay, that's where things come into picture. Uh, the most important thing around prompt engineering is to stick to your goal. Okay, for example, if you have to create a summary, or if you do a translation, or if you do creative tasks, maybe like create a script for a movie or create a poem, then the prompt must stick around the goal. Okay, there has to be specificity and clarity in your thoughts. Okay, you have to be very clear and avoid any confusion कि शायरी लिखनी है या पोयम लिखनी है या गजल लिखनी है. That has to be very clear. The prompt should not be ambiguous at any point. Okay, instruction depends upon how you instruct the model. Then again, prompt engineering is an iterative process rather than a single shot succession, right? What does this mean? Okay, suppose whenever we have to design a model to do something, we always start off with the raw prompt. Okay, so suppose if we have to maybe help a model write ghazal for us, so the bare basis could be that, hi, can you write a ghazal for me? Okay, then you will realize it is writing, and in its response you will realize okay, what are the things now which are missing, which you were expecting the model to do. So which is where the iterative process begins. Now you will refine. Okay, you will say okay, write a ghazal around this subject, and the ghazal should be in the AB style of the poetic touch. Okay, and maybe avoid these words, maybe have these words, and theme of the ghazal, topic of the ghazal, and maybe then at the end you will realize that you are refining and enriching a prompt that it later on gives you a best result. Okay, so that's the core idea of what a prompt engineering is all about. So let us understand from an example. समझ लेते हैं, let us understand that our LLM is a chef, okay? It is a chef with great talent, okay? Such a great talent that it can cook anything for us. We just need to correctly tell what we want. So if we are giving the chef a recipe, so this recipe is nothing but the prompt, okay? And just by reading it, this prompt, the chef, which is a capable person, can create the dish for us. Now, depending upon how detailed the recipe is, will directly impact how detailed the output dish is. Okay, so I think this example should hit you better that what exactly is prompt engineering supposed to be, and it is the art of asking the right question. So we have always surfaced these things in our every curriculum, could be school, college, सब जगह सुना हुआ that communication skills are an art, okay, to be developed. So similarly, if you are great at communication, if you're good at expressing things, you're good at prompting also. So the notion here is that the art of writing great prompts is to be more expressive to the model that what do you want to do, okay, and try to add into that iterative process. So uh, again, this is what the prompt in itself is supposed to be. Now the prompt could be open-ended or close-ended. I'll talk about it a little bit right now. Okay. So suppose let us go to Gemini to begin with. Okay. So this is Gemini. You can use any of the model. You can also use ChatGPT to begin with. Okay, you can reach here. This is Ask ChatGPT. Okay, and this is Gemini. You can, in fact, if you have Microsoft Bing, you can even use the Bing search and much more, right? So if I try to open up the Edge, let me see if the Edge is working, and the Copilot is right here. All right, so yes, so even this will work. So this is the Copilot for us. Like for example, hi, and this is where it will work. Okay, let me just for now switch the Copilot. Let me just for now uh, quit the OpenAI, but you can use any of the model that you are comfortable with. Now, on the Gemini interface, you will realize that there are many different models to pick from, which is where I told you, right, that to design a prompt, you should also understand which type of model you're working with. Now, as a prompt engineer, it becomes very reasonable to understand the difference between what is a 2.5 Pro or Flash or deep research models, right? So for now, we need not bother about it. So Flash is a model which is supposed to work faster, okay? So in fact, let's try to run a first prompt which will help us explain these things, right? So if I go to Flash Pro and deep research, okay, if I just ask it, what is the difference between Flash Pro and experimental models of Gemini? Okay, so this is my question right over here, and this is the answer coming in from the raw LLM itself, right? If you see this gives me a lot of information. Okay, it talks about from the term Flash Pro refer to different categories. Pro focuses on the focus of this is designed to be fast and efficient, whereas like high volume, high frequency things, and the experimental models are early previews, and this is where you can find a conclusion between them, right? So if you try to think, my question was very open. Okay, uh, so I can try to now close my question into a more structured format. Okay, I'll just repeat my question once again, and I'll tell you what is the difference between writing an open prompt versus a closed prompt. So imagine this to be an open prompt, okay, and whatever output you're seeing on the screen, these are the raw output that an open prompt can give us. Okay, what is the difference between Flash and Pro models? Okay, on Gemini. Now I'll express it. Please respond only in a table of difference. Now if I run it, you will realize that my model's output will drastically change, okay? Rather than such long outputs, okay, which I had to read, now I have a more tabular manner, okay? So for an example, primary goal of Flash is supposed to be low latency, speed, and cost optimization. Pro are supposed to be maximum quality and for complex tasks, okay? Context windows, availability, cost, and such that, okay? Now, so this is where the closed prompts come into picture, okay? For an example, I can write a prompt that can you extract name from, or let us say contact number and email from the below text, okay? So let us say, hi, my name is, let us say, Gaurav. I stay in Mumbai. I have experience working with LLMs. You can reach me at +91 8888 66 and things like that. Okay, perfect. Or else at Gaurav at the rate LetsUpgrade.com. Okay. Let us see what the response is supposed to be right over here. So you will see that it created a table for me, okay, inspired from my previous thoughts though. Again, this is a little open-ended. Now, what if I try to go back and try to close this prompt a little bit more, okay, that I try to give it a structure. Please response in this format only. Please response or maybe like in valid JSON format only, which is like this, okay? Number, value, email, value, okay? So now I am driving the prompt to give me exactly what I want. And if you see, the output is a valid JSON. I can simply copy it and I'm great to go with wherever I want with this type of output, right? So this is a little bit difference between how open-ended prompts are and how closed-ended prompts are. But open-ended prompts have its own advantage. Okay, so open-ended prompts can generate a wide array of creativity, maybe different information. They could be more descriptive. They could be more explanatory, right? They could be more creative while writing, and they're really great when you're brainstorming on certain ideas. So. If you're working on things like creativity, if you're into content creation, if you're into learning things, it is better to keep your prompts a little open, so that there's enough scope to brainstorm or maybe go in depth of the discussion and understand different perspectives around it, right? Whereas structured prompts, they are more useful when you want to work with tabular data. A specific structure is what you're looking behind. Maybe you are role playing with a certain persona of this chatbot. Maybe you want the chatbot to behave in a particular manner. That is where structured response are more useful. Maybe you just want uh, the answer to come in different pointers. Like for example, explain me why India is the best country to begin with, though. Okay, if I just have to ask something like this. So this is an open-ended prompt. Okay, I am not sure where it will take me, but it is interesting that I'll be able to dive into it. Okay, now what if I was looking into some pointers? Okay, so I can add explain in 5 pointers only. So now you will realize that my prompt is now coming into 5 pointers. I can go further. Okay, max single sentence each. and then try to consolidate more around it, right? So this is something which I'm looking for. And the thought that I wanted to give you, that how prompt engineering can be more iterative process, is something like this. Okay, explain me why India is the best country. I realize that this output has to be driven into more my touch, which is where I added pointers only. I realized the pointers are again pretty lengthy for me, which is where max single sentence each does the work. So what will work for you? What trick will work when it is where prompt engineering is all about, right? And this is the art of writing things. So I'll tell you some more tips and tricks which I have learned from my experience when it comes to writing better prompts. So the first thing which definitely does the work is to set up a persona. Okay. So the thought here is that you should give a role play to the model. Okay. So for an example, if you want to learn some basic concept, then maybe try to add a statement to begin with that Gemini, you should behave like an expert tutor. Okay, or you are someone who is expert at 10th standard or 10th grade, or maybe college grade of mathematics. Okay, so this will set up a persona. So let us try to understand this with a certain example. Okay, so explain me the concept of AI. What if I ask this question? So it is giving me an open-ended response, also giving me citing certain websites where I can refer to. Now we will set up behave like a uh, school grade teacher who will explain what is AI to uh, naive young fourth grade students. Okay, who will explain our topic to the topic is what is AI. Okay, so if we design this, you will realize the tone, the statement, how the response is supposed to begin has completely changed. There are so many exclamation marks here and there. All right, class, settle down, settle down. Okay, like this is the drama that the AI is now coming with. Today we are going to talk about something super cool called AI. Now imagine you have a really smart puppy. You see, the thing never began with technical aspects. It began with an analogy, right? How we talked about prompt engineering to be chefs and recipe. The Google is using the same technique, right? Puppies can learn new things, right? And how do they learn it? So that's where how it will adapt to the computers and it will teach things like this, right? So if you want to derive things out of the generative models, prompt engineering is something that you should be really great at. Now, let us try to redesign this prompt and simply add 10th grade, okay, or maybe 11th grade somewhere. You will realize that the settle down statement, which obviously is where you will find in the fourth grade, has moved to uh, somewhere right. All right, settle in. Today we are diving into a concept that's rapidly shaping our world, artificial intelligence, as you might have often heard people calling it AI. Now, this is where teacher is already assuming that at 11th grade it is okay that student might have heard AI somewhere, okay? And the technicalities in more depth. There are certain research articles around with this answer now, okay? What if we redesign and take it to college grade professor to PhD computer science grade students? What is AI? And you will realize that the model has definitely adapted, and there's much more jargons and descriptions coming into picture, and you see this is more detailed response. So this is the magic and this is the idea of how the prompts in different formats are supposed to behave, right? So that's where open-ended and structured prompts and inspect adding a persona to it works. Now the second important trick that I have learned along with adding persona is to add the level of uh, role that the person has to do, which I've already explained you. Rather than just telling that you are a teacher and do this thing, if you add level of expectance, and now I'm expecting it to behave like a college level teacher, now I'm expecting it to behave like a school level teacher, that too somewhere impacts the performance of the model, right? So you have to break down complex tasks first, begin simple. If you have to teach AI, just simply write what is AI. Realize what is missing, add that, add a persona, and then add certain things. When you add, try to add few jargons. If you're trying to add certain jargons, try to add them with inverted commas. Try to use XML tags. They are really important. Okay, so let us talk about something. Okay, so today me and my friends were playing what is a common game these days that people play. Okay, uh, okay, I remember one which is known as PUBG. Okay, so today me and my friends were playing PUBG, and we spent around 2 hours with it. Can you recommend what should we do tomorrow, as we have free hours for tomorrow too? Now, obviously, this LLM would know what PUBG is supposed to be. It will definitely help me with Free Fire, Call of Duty, or things like that. Okay, but what I've realized in my experience is that when we are using certain jargons like this, okay, when we are using certain jargons like this, it is important that you add certain knowledge base along with it. Maybe with uh, the asterisk marks, know that with the inverted commas, PUBG is a mobile game, okay, but here we are talking about only PC version, okay. So if I add this information, you will realize that it will quickly pick up PC gaming fun. It will no more think about from a different perspective that phones or PCs or maybe exploring things here and there. It will now focus more on PC gaming fun, but with different experiences. Now it will talk about theme-based shooters. Now remember that the recommendation that this LLM is giving you is no more related to the Free Fire, okay, or Ludo King, because maybe because these are more towards mobile-oriented gaming, right? It will now focus on Counter Strike. It will now focus on shooter games because again these are or Valorant, okay. These are related to PUBG style of gaming, I believe, and open world survival games. Okay, so this is where adding extra knowledge to your LLM does the work. Okay, now let us find a few things. Okay, uh, heart rate sensor. Okay, let us take a pulse sensor. Let us take a pulse sensor. Let us copy this part. Now, usually, if I add something in three quotes, this is how I add knowledge base whenever I am working. Okay, I'll create a knowledge base around it, and I'll add this knowledge base. So let us see if we can work around with it. Okay, So what if I ask a question using the above knowledge, explain doubts which I might have, okay? And now I present my doubt. What should be the ideal diameter size of pulse sensor? Okay, now let us erase the knowledge base ones. Okay, and now let's try to ask the question to the LLM. So once we have this question, you will realize that the model is giving me a lot of different aspects around the ideal diameter. Okay, now if I add the knowledge base, and now when I try to ask this question, now let me try to change it from 0.625 to 0.825. Okay, now let me try to ask this question. Okay, wait. Now when I execute this question, we will realize that the provided text says the diameter is 0.825. Okay, so remember how if we have certain knowledge base with us, providing it helps LLM improvise the answer for our particular need. Okay, so says tomorrow if I have to write an blog on certain thing, I'm a content writer and I have to write a blog about a thing which belongs to my company, a product which belongs to my company. So I can add the product's specifications, the product's description, or anything that can help LLM understand what the product is supposed to be and ask questions around it. Okay, so that's where the model will be more reliable in terms of whatever it is answering. Okay, so what we have learned till now, let's try to recap and summarize these things. Okay, so the very first thing we realized is that we should add more clarity and depth in whatever we're trying to do, right? For example, if the prompt is summarize this article, okay, and if I provide any article, for now I will not shoot this prompt, I'm just giving you, suppose if I provide any article and if I try to run this prompt, so this is a bad prompt to begin with, because I'll not say bad prompt, I'll say it is more open-ended prompt. And to make it a good prompt, the thing is summarize this article into 200 words. Now it is more specific to what I want. Okay, and include headers and maximum 2 paragraphs. Okay, this is more towards what will help me get closer to what I want. Okay, so that's the difference between what could be a good and a bad prompt to begin with, right? So again, suppose if I am starting a new company today, okay, suggest a good company name. Okay, I am starting an IT firm. Okay, so this is maybe a prompt that I'm shooting. Okay, if you see, the answers are coming in, but you know what if I provide more context? Okay, where my goal is to connect freelancers and clients specifically for AI tasks. So adding more depth will definitely help me get better generations, right? So okay, the prompt didn't reach because of some internet issues. I hope my internet is working fine for now. Can someone put it in the text? Okay, yeah, the internet is supposed to working be fine. All right. So for an example, suppose this prompt is not working here. Maybe we can switch it to ChatGPT, and which is where one more important strategy that as a prompt engineer you should have is that you should run your prompt on multiple different platforms. Okay, same prompt, copy it, run it on OpenAI, run it on ChatGPT, run it on like Gemini, run it on LLMs like LangChain, sorry, the Llama or the Grok, wherever you want. Like, I'm just trying to give you different examples on which you can run this, right? So, which is where you will realize that the answers are much more reliable and adaptable, right? So with this, we will just simply quickly recap that what is needed to be a good prompt engineer. So to be a good prompt engineer, you need to understand the meaning of prompt engineering. You need to understand the fundamentals of AI, like what is a transformer model, what is the language model to begin with, things like what is tokenization, what is neural networks, how do they work, and how prompts work, like having an open-ended prompt versus well-defined structured prompts. Okay, and then putting hands on and working more with AI, right? Now, what if I tell you that there is a much more advanced way to prompt, okay, known as advanced prompt engineering. Now, this is a course where you'll find many paid courses around it, okay? So, even if I take you to, for example, Udemy to begin with, okay, let's go there. If we do, say, prompt engineering, so you will realize that there are many paid courses around here. If we go to any one of them, the topic is always how the AI is supposed to work, and the principle of prompting. And okay, this is a little bit different course though. Not okay, practical prompt engineering masterclass. So if we look over here, so we will realize that introduction to GPT prompts, prompt engineering foundation, adaptive prompting, and then you will realize there are some advanced techniques like few shot, creative thought. In fact, like, these are restricted. We will talk more than what this course does. Okay, ये course is only talking about few shot and thoughtful prompting. We will talk about chain of thought. We will be covering. We'll be covering zero shot, few shot, chain of thought. Okay, contextual and memory based prompting. We will go into these different topics, but we have reserved them for tomorrow. We will fine tune the prompts on specific tasks, maybe creative writing, technical writing, and we will cover all the aspects which when it comes to handling the advanced techniques that have come up in the market for better prompting. Okay, so but for now, I'll just quickly recap that today's thought process was to introduce you to what is the prompts, how they're supposed to work, what is the language model, and maybe do some hands-on with you, right? Before we quit the session, I will open up the floor to the participants, okay, where you can ask me if there is any doubt. If you have any open question related to this sessions related to prompt engineering, they are more than welcome. So I'll just quickly wait if we have any question coming in. Okay, let me just quickly reload my live chat. I think it might be stuck. All right. Yes, there are many questions that we might have. All right. Yes. So the local LLM modules, perhaps we can train them in a particular area or not. Yes, of course. So Sandeep is asking if we can train local LLMs in particular area. Yes, of course we can. In fact, in my company itself, we have trained models on specific tasks. Could be to recognize certain intents, could be to recognize certain emotions, behaves, or maybe extract things from a particular question. So we have local small model LLMs which behave very good at a particular task. In fact, beat ChatGPTs and Geminis at it because they are more fine-tuned at our level. Okay, so so someone is asking me what do you say about the future of AI? So From my perspective, the large language models or ChatGPT or Gemini are not the future of AI. For this is a debatable topic, but I do not feel that way. I think that LLMs have reached a pinnacle. They have reached a vertex which will take a lot of time to jump from here, right? It is more like a propaganda that is coming in, but of course, they are useful models. The future of AI is more into video prediction, okay, or to behave more like humans, okay. The future of AI is to create intelligence which is more human like. Of course, these LLMs are not nowhere similar to what humans are. It is just a generative model or predictive model which predicts next tokens. It has zero intelligence into it, okay. So maybe the future is into building robots that actually understand our real world, okay. And yes, someone is asking about Ghibli AI. I was expecting this comment to come a little earlier. This is which is trending these days. So I understand that the topic of this class is prompt engineering, and there are also multimodal LLMs. We are only dealing with text, but the LLMs are capable now also to interact with the images and create, in fact, videos, which we see a lot of on Instagram these days, right? So that is also a booming sector. In fact, it will boom much more than just LLMs. For developers, it is important to learn, right? Okay. Now, can we able to build our own AI chatbot using ChatGPT or something? Yes, of course. We definitely can build it, right? In fact, like people like me in service companies, we are day in day out delivering such chatbots to people, right? Okay. Is NVIDIA play a crucial role in developing LLM processors? If yes, then how did DeepSeek achieve top performance with their DeepSeek R1 using older H800 chips where it beats the splendid model? So, Shritesh is asking a really good question. Uh, I'll take you to an analogy, okay? Uh, for an example, if we go here, uh, you will realize that this is a clip of a movie where this person, although this is a fictional movie, but you will realize this person created Iron Man, the virtual concept, in a cave, okay. It need not needed the fancy laboratories. So Shritesh, that is something which has happened with the DeepSeek, and they have proven to the world that the idea is that we need not push the hardware limitations, in fact think in some another ways. So I'll tell you what is happening. Mostly the strategies to create a large language models rely on a little bit of supervised, semi-supervised methods, which is what the American industries like OpenAI, Google, and Facebook have been following, okay. Whereas the DeepSeek, they came up with a very novel approach to use reinforcement learning, okay. Another important thought here was that the current generation models, they work with a precision of 32 bits, okay. like आपके जीरो के बाद कितने पॉइंट्स आएंगे तो 32 डेसिमल्स तक हम वो पॉइंट्स दे सकते हैं. whereas the DeepSeek was able to cap it to 16 bits, जहां से उन्होंने अपनी RAM utilization काफी कम की. Okay, so this is a very interesting topic, and I'm really happy, Shritesh, that you have such interest and you're following these things, because this was a big innovation. And to everyone, I see the 140 people are still retained here. I'll tell you that this was a big moment. You realize how पोखरण के अंदर इंडिया ने जब न्यूक्लियर टेस्टिंग की थी, एंड वी बिकेम लाइक द न्यूक्लियर leaders also, we were matching with them. So this is a similar case. Remember people that in India currently we are lacking behind. अभी वो next जो न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब है ना, वो AI है. और in AI, China has actually made a strong hold by launching this DeepSeek. And let us hope कि हमारे इंडिया में भी इस वक्त फोकस थोड़ा साइंटिफिक वापस बने, एंड we also think about making something like this. It was indeed ingenious thought that how they came up with and build it, right? Now why don't you add your itself? Okay, try again that reason in ChatGPT. Okay, So local LLM models, perhaps we can train them in particular area or not. Yes, I think I've answered that. Sir, compare ChatGPT versus DeepSeek versus Gemini. Okay, so I'll add up some more thought over here. Deepak, there are certain frameworks. I'll give you one. OPIC करके एक framework है. OPIC is a product by Comet company. Now, what it does is usually one way is you can just simply run DeepSeek, OpenAI, and Gemini on browsers, compare the results from there. But if you're a developer, if you're a programmer, then I will recommend you should learn a little bit about OPIC, how it can help you debug, evaluate, and monitor different LLMs. Okay, where we can benchmark the performance of different LLMs on a given task. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, prompt engineering is good or AI agent developer for career? Prompt engineering as a career did boom up at a point. 7-8 months ago, there was so much demand of prompt engineers that it was a new career in itself, but it's a dying career. AI engineer is something that will survive. Okay, prompt engineering गायब हो जाएगी market से. AI engineering, because prompt engineering is something that everyone should know. So when someone asks me in the start of the session that is it only for a particular class of people, this session, I say no. Prompt engineering is so common that anyone who knows to use internet, वो उनके लिए है. So prompt engineering as a career alone will not survive. We have to focus on AI. What are the jobs we can apply after prompt engineering? Okay, so a good AI engineer should be a good prompt engineer to begin with. तो अगर आप prompt engineering के साथ career बनाना चाह रहे हो, then the thoughts are that you should learn about the transformers, how encoder decoder model works, how GPT model works, how can we create such models, how to fine tune them, पाइथन की बेसिक डेवलपमेंट, पाइथन के अंदर एपीआई प्रोग्रामिंग कैसे बनती है, एनी बैकएंड फ्रेमवर्क लाइक फ्लास्क और जेंगो आना चाहिए, एंड with this you should be able to design certain chatbots, certain applications. थोड़ा बहुत vision पढ़ो, क्योंकि vision LLMs are the future of the LLMs now, and that's where you can develop a career with prompt engineering. And if you're serious about career, then something about LangChain is a framework that you should begin with. Okay, LangChain को पढ़ना start करो. In fact, you can start off with any course, free course, paid course. Start with LangChain. LangChain पढ़ना start करो if you want to make career into prompt engineering. Okay, sir, you said that I have downloaded the OpenAI in the system and we can ask question uncensored, like without restriction. How to download in my laptop and use it for my own purpose? Okay, ठीक है. So first of all, अगर आपको uncensored versions download करने हैं, तो Olama is the platform which hosts the models. यहाँ पर अगर आप uncensored search करोगे, Llama 2 का uncensored model मिल जाएगा. Let me try to search it in the models. Let me try to search uncensored. ठीक है, uncensored में search करूंगा तो I'll see many uncensored models. If I have to run this, I'll be able to just download it from here. But before I download it, I'll have to make sure that Olama is installed. So if you're using Linux, you can simply use a curl command to run it, and just by hitting Olama run, ये command run कर दोगे, it will download the model locally. So for someone who is interested here, Olama चलाना सीखो और Olama से कैसे आप models लगा सकते हो वो सीखो. If you belong to non-science background, the question is incomplete. Okay, sir, do we have other informative free sessions with certificates available from you? If so, could you please share it? Well, of course, Kavya, I am always available for different sessions on LetsUpgrade. In fact, many more trainers are available here, and we keep on doing these sessions. I think the all-in-one document will help you understand what are the upcoming sessions and where you can follow them, right? Okay. Prompt engineering is good for AI agents for career, answered. Okay. What are the jobs we can apply to non-science backgrounds? So, yes, there are many examples where you can use prompt engineering apart from non-tech background. The content writers, okay, the digital marketing or the media marketing team, marketing and content writing team, or the animation team, or the video editors, animators. I think there are so many careers. In fact, like if you are related to some, your job is related to work with texts or image or generations, every career will have this opportunity. Okay, in fact, it's good to have it. Okay, can you tell us the future of software engineering? So, software engineering as an industry, as a future, kahin nahi ja raha hai. There will always be a front-end developer, back-end developer, AI developer, DevOps engineer, QA tester. ये रहेंगे. Until and unless we people retire, you people retire, these jobs are not going anywhere. Do not worry. Okay, but it is good to learn AI because वो future है. Are humans really going to be replaced by AI in jobs? Well, this is a debatable question, and for the coming 50-60 years, मुझे नहीं लग रहा ऐसा होने वाला है, यश. At least for your career, no need to worry. Okay, so some people said even ChatGPT will said that the DeepSeek is made by scraping. Oh yes, okay. So यहाँ पर Saurabh has one more important question that DeepSeek के ऊपर काफी लीगल rights lag gaye the. The problem is because when we tested DeepSeek, in fact, when I tested DeepSeek, when the model was launched, I was able to download it. And when I tested the model that who you are, when I gave the model a prompt, ke, who you are, the model answered me that I am basically someone who is trained out of OpenAI company. Okay, so which is where the concept came ke, why is this model behaving like this? It is definitely a proof that the DeepSeek company used uh, ChatGPT to generate answers and to generate training data. So that's where, the question is that despite so the problem is why DeepSeek couldn't survive the boom or hype is because of this problem. But the idea is the architecture of DeepSeek is novel. उन्होंने जो बनाया है वो बहुत जेन्युइन है, बट वो जिस तरीके से बनाया है वो लीगल नहीं था. Okay, so there are many legal aspects of DeepSeek, but the thought of using reinforcement learning, the thought of adding not 32 bits precision, only 16-bit precisions and much more things जो DeepSeek architecture में change हुई हैं, वो genuine थे. No one in the world invented something like that before. Okay, so that's where the answer lies. What are your thoughts on Firebase? So Firebase has now launched a low-code platform. I'm aware of it, but I have not used much into it. But it is taking good hype. Okay. So last question: will OpenAI launch their energy-based model that is Q-Star in the upcoming future? Shritij, no. Q-Star से पहले there are many things lined up. ठीक है. First of all, there is the web automation tool जिसपे प्रोटोटाइप्स ऑलरेडी डिलीवर हो गए हैं. सिर्फ यूएस ओनली सिटीजन्स को उसका राइट्स भी मिल गया है वेब ऑटोमेशन को यूज करने का. So that is where OpenAI is currently focusing. GPT-5 की launch की तैयारी चल रही है, so GPT-5 will be coming in, and Q-Star is still in some future. Okay, so what is Q-Star? People are asking. So Q-Star is again one game-changing algorithm, game-changing design, which is much more intelligent than our regular LLMs. What will be the RAM and graphic card requirement to run LLM locally? Okay, so for this I'll give you compute VRAM requirement for LLM. There are different formulas through which you can calculate the VRAM requirements, but I'll simply give you this thought process right over here. ये formula होता है कि आप नंबर ऑफ पैरामीटर्स को मल्टीप्लाई कर दो बाइट्स पर पैरामीटर से. एग्जांपल अगर 7 बिलियन मॉडल है और आप उसको 16 बिट प्रिसीजन पे चलाना चाह रहे हो, तो 7 बिलियन मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 2 बाइट्स पर पैरामीटर इज इक्वल्स टू 14 into this 14 GB लगेगा. In fact, even if you do not want to do this mathematics, so LLM system requirements calculator, if you just search something like this, GitHub पे एक repo है. Even if you do not want to run this repo, this site can do the work for you. कितने बिलियन का पैरामीटर चलाओगे? मान लो 30 बिलियन चलाना चाह रहे हो, 16 बिट पे कैलकुलेट, 72 GB मेमोरी लगेगी, FP8 में 32 GB मेमोरी लगेगी. So there are many web pages which can help you find whether you can run it locally or not. Okay, I use it for drafting legal documents. Yes, of course you can use it. All right. Sir, can you list top 10 best careers? I say better to ask LLM, what are the top 10 best careers? Should we take prompt as skill? Yes, prompt as a skill is important. I am a MERN-stack developer. Is there any chance that AI can replace developers? No, not yet. Okay. Keep learning what you are learning. MERN-stack is a good career option. Is coding necessary to learn the future? Is it enough to learn basics? Coding is necessary to learn the future, of course. That's definitely there. Is DeepSeek safe to use for personal use, or is it breaching of the data is a concern on the platform? Well, if you're using DeepSeek locally, there's no issue, okay? Because if you're running it off the internet, the data is not going anywhere. Problem to compute number of words in audio and number of unique words in audio along with it. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Okay. All right. I think I've covered majority of the doubts. Are there any further doubts? We can definitely talk about them. So it happened that my live chat screen was stuck and I was not getting any such questions. Hence, these questions might have compiled up, but I took time to answer all of them, and I see that the doubts are done, right? How to keep the local LLMs up to date? Well, of course, that's not automated at this point. That's when you keep on following what you are behind, right? For example, अगर आप लामा को फॉलो कर रहे हो, so लामा का सबसे पहले तो आपको वो लामा के प्लेटफॉर्म पे जाना है. वो लामा के प्लेटफॉर्म पे पॉपुलर की जगह न्यूएस्ट लगाना है, एंड इन न्यूएस्ट यहाँ पर जो भी कुछ लेटेस्ट है वो मिलता रहेगा. Like for example, if you talk about the suppose I have to find the latest llama model, I'll search for llama and I'll sort it by newest. So this is where I will be able to find the newest versions of llama 2 या जो भी चल रहा है 3 days पहले का update. And of course you have to follow the market. आपको updates बाहर से लेने चाहिए कि मतलब Facebook को follow करो, llama को follow करना है, OpenAI को follow करो, ChatGPT को follow करना है. All right. So if you're a mechanical engineer graduate, no worries. हमने बहुत इंजीनियर्स देखे हैं जो मतलब कोई लॉयर्स हैं, कोई मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर्स हैं, एंड दे आर कमिंग टू. इनफैक्ट मैं मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर हूँ. मैंने 2 साल इनफैक्ट आई नेवर टच्ड कंप्यूटर्स इन माय लाइफ. 4 years पहले आई couldn't even program something. Okay. All right. So that's definitely not a blocker to you. Will I get certificate upon completion? Is attendance required for certificate? Yes, attendance is of course required for certification. So are AI vulnerables? Yes, I'll say जैसे different viruses होते हैं या different hacking techniques होती हैं. There are few techniques through which your AI models can be hacked. Prompt injection एक technique है. So you can understand what is prompt injection and vulnerabilities when it comes to AI, how it should not expose your personal data, or how it should be HIPAA compliant. You can think about these aspects. Can we have your LinkedIn ID? I'm not sure if I'm allowed to give that to you, but the name is almost same. Okay, even if you just search it, you will be able to find it. Okay. Sir, I have a basic understanding of Java, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Could you please guide me with a roadmap to become job ready? Java, HTML. So you have covered your front end, right? So it depends, Sahil. What do you want to do in your career? Do you want to become a full stack developer? Do you want to become an AI developer? That's not clear to me. Where to ask doubt other than YouTube? If you want to ask doubts, to me personally, LinkedIn is a good platform where you can connect and ask doubts. Okay, I'm not sure, Praneeth, Neetu, and other people, that if I'm allowed to share LinkedIn ID. Let me just quickly ask the team if that's possible. Okay. Sir, what is the time duration of this workshop? I think we are almost done with it. I was just waiting for a few of the doubts to come in. We are done with this session. Yes, Saurabh, it's true that posting personal images for Ghibli art is not safe. In fact, data privacy is myth in today's generation. Okay. Well, that's appreciated. Thank you so much that you were able to take some valuable insights from this session. All right, I think for now we will stop here. I'll see you all tomorrow. We will look into it, and trust me, tomorrow is where we will do much more refined prompt engineering. All right. Thank you everyone for joining in and staying tuned. I'll see you all tomorrow. Tata, bye bye, good night, sayonara.